Hello, YouTube. It's Brother Gerald, YouTube philosopher. And today, the topic is relationships and relationships as they relate to love. The Greeks had a way of categorizing love in a very simple taxonomic structure. And taxonomy is just a fancy word of being able to define things in specific categories. And so here we go. The Greeks used four words to define the various types of love. Storge, which is a type of love, and it's the kind of love that a parent has towards a child. It's a natural love, it's a natural affection, and typically we would see this in the bonding between a child and its mother. I've seen it to where even though as a father and a husband, I may have been the one who made the most contribution in providing for this child's existence. I provided the food, the clothing, the shelter. But I see from my own experience, my own children having this greater capacity to love their mother just on account and virtue of her being the mother. Because I would say that if it was based on what a person did, I would say that, for the mother to have just delivered this child into the world, this was something that nature made and gave the husband and the woman no choice in making this decision. She, just by the very nature of being a woman, that that burden or job of producing the child out of her body was nothing that she could say, I'm taking credit for this. But here it was, I took credit for raising the child, feeding and providing for everyone. And in a point of conflict or controversy, my sons tend to really ignore all of the things that I did, and they just emotionally bond with the mother and take sides. And to me, that's excellent. I'm not even making issue that it's not fair. No, I'm just basically noticing that this is the case. So storge is just that basic love that we see with parents and children, and we see it really expressed well between a mother and a child. Phileo is the love that is this voluntary connection between men and women, and it's a platonic type of love. It's like I really look forward to going to work because I have a fellow coworker that is funny. He tells great jokes and he's just really a pleasure to be around. And so the relationship or the love that I have for him is voluntary. I voluntarily choose to desire to be around this person, and I expect nothing but good feelings to be exchanged in having this relationship. And if something beyond good feelings are exchanged, it is money or it is help. It could be anything but an intimate moving across the board. So if sex becomes involved, then now you're into another type of love, which is called eros. And that word is the root from where we get the word erotic. And erotic love is just a purely sexually driven attraction. And I really wouldn't necessarily call this love, but the Greeks just had understood that in a relationship, sex is going to play a role. So if sex is going to play a role, there has to be some aspect of love, because all relationships, to one degree or another, will be defined by love. Now, the antithesis of a loving relationship, I really wouldn't call a relationship, but it is a relationship nonetheless, because when we go to war, we are relating to an enemy, and we're going to battle the enemy to the death, to either the death of the conflict or the death of the enemy himself. So that is a relationship, but it is definitely not one born in the natural flow of love or natural attraction. So the erotic love is one that expresses a connection to a person, and that connection was driven probably by a phileo type of relationship, but it moves to the next level to where you want exclusivity. You want exclusivity to the point that you want this person to become connected to you beyond just being a plutonic type of relationship. You want a greater connection. And it's kind of funny how we flip things in reverse, where we can go out on a first date, and just because a woman is horny and she thinks he's cute, and or she might just think he's cute, or she might be impressed by his profession. He's a fireman, he's a doctor, he's an attorney, he's got some social standing that is admirable. So, you know, I'd like to get with him. Or a movie star. It's amazing how, so many women, just on the strength of Brad Pitt being a very handsome movie star, would be willing to have sex with this man just by virtue of being Brad Pitt. And that would be the payoff for them, to just do that. To me, this is just what I would call a perversion of the erotic nature of womanhood and the place it has in a relationship. Because for the woman to have sex with Brad Pitt just on the strength of, I want Brad Pitt, to me it's stupid. But it just proves that people do stupid things. We have a TV show called America's Funniest Home Videos, and we laugh at people being injured. We laugh at so many stupid things. But anyway, I digress. Let's get back onto the focus. And then we have agape. Agape is the type of love that God has, and it's what a lot of people would call an unconditional love. But I would take issue that when we say we love someone, what we're saying is that we are becoming discriminating between someone that we declare our love to versus someone that we don't know at all, or we might love to a certain level. But when we talk about agape love, it is a love of exclusivity or exclusiveness. It is something that, on one hand, is wonderful in that it includes a specific particular person to the exclusion of everyone else. So as a Christian, when I say I love Christ, I'm basically declaring my love for him, and my love for him will be defined by what he expects of me to do as a result of making this declaration, because he has said that I love you to where I was willing to pay a price, a punishment on your behalf that you had no means or resources to pay for yourself. But in order for you to receive this love that I have for you, it is on condition that you do certain things in order to honor the love that I have for you. So here we have the love that God has bestowed upon us is conditioned upon whether we honor what he's done for us or whether we dishonor what he does for us. And in honoring what he did for us, we begin to do what he tells us to do, because Jesus, out of his own mouth, he says, for those that love me, they will keep my commandments. So keeping a commandment means that you're going to do what you're told. So we have this cosmic loving God that made and did all of these good and wonderful things, making a command that, and a demand. He says that if you love me, now the thing is, his command and his demand is a conditional statement. So it's up to you to choose whether what he's presenting to you is worthy of obedience or not. So everybody wants to today look at God as being this creator who demands, and he does. But he doesn't demand to the degree that he's shooting lightning bolts down when you choose to go contrary to what he says. But he basically says that punishment and consequences will follow, and we need to be able to acknowledge those things. And he does give us clues that there is a consequence to our actions, in that when somebody gets robbed of things, we call the police, and we're looking for the police to do an investigation in hopes to bring that person to justice. So by the same token, when God offers his love for us, we have the freedom to choose and to accept or to deny. So in this, I would just conclude the whole point of me making this video is that a relationship is going to be defined by how exclusive you can make the things that are of true value. And I would say sex is one of the things of greatest value in a relationship, and a good relationship will maintain the exclusivity of sex between the husband and between the wife. Because if a woman is found or finds her husband to be sexually involved with another person, she's going to be a little hurt. If the man finds the woman to be in the relationship having had sex with another man, and she didn't make known that she was even dealing with this man at any point in the relationship, to me that is a terrible relationship, and those relationships are not going to last. And if they do, the behaviors are going to have to go back to exclusivity. And the thing is, trust is something that is generated and built, and it is something that takes a lot of work to maintain, but it could be diminished and destroyed by one act of betrayal. So we can see the value of maintaining trust and honor, as opposed to how devastating and damaging just one action of dishonor and distrust makes in a relationship. So these are the things that we must really take into consideration. And if we want to have a good relationship, we must see the advantages of being in a good relationship and the responsibility of what being in a relationship is about. Because if we don't recognize the disadvantages in that, in being in this relationship, the disadvantages, I can't involve others. Because when I do, the relationship is destroyed. And with that, I depart. Peace to you all.